Welcome back to the Power and the Glory. Today's scripture is taken from the book of Psalms, at Psalm 111, verse 5. But before I read the scripture, please like, share, and subscribe. It really does help the Google algorithm. And thank you to my existing subscribers for your ongoing support. I really do appreciate it. So I'll read the scripture now. He provides food for those who fear him. He remembers his covenant forever. So this verse demonstrates God's faithfulness and reliability in providing for his people's needs, both physically and spiritually, based on his covenant promises. Now the verse shows that God is motivated to provide for his people through his covenant faithfulness rather than on an ad hoc basis. That being said, let's now look at the scripture's main themes in more detail, starting off with your daily bread. So the promise here is that God will provide the daily physical sustenance to maintain those who truly worship and adore him. And amazingly, he can even do this out of thin air, as he did with the manna from heaven that he provided for the Israelites. But those who will receive this are those who are aligned with his teaching and live in obedience to him. So in other words, those who maintain a fear of God. Now those who fear God have a very deep feeling of respect for God and regard him with awe rather than being actually physically or sort of anxiously stressed about him. It's the obedient reverence that believers have, though, through their fear of God, that will actually unlock and sustain this ongoing provision. It's not all about physical food, of course, it's about soul food too. God is the provider of more than physical sustenance. He also provides essential spiritual nourishment through his word and through the promise of salvation. Now this is food that sustains the soul eternally. It's provided to his believers through the scriptures. God is, of course, faithful to his covenants. God's agreed promises with his people are formalized in a covenant, and that means that God will never walk away from his commitment to his people and abandon them. And critically, even though we fail and disappoint him from time to time, he will still keep providing for us because of the strength and the binding commitment of the covenant, even though we don't deserve it. Now, our knowledge of God's character should make us trust him as believers. Believers trust God because he's trustworthy, in his character. Because God is faithful to his covenant and always provides for his own. Those who fear him should never doubt that God will deliver for them. He never fails. In other words, because he is true to his word, his believers should always trust that they'll be provided for and have no reason to be anxious or concerned. So be like King David, and as a believer in times of apparent scarcity, keep believing that God will provide. Imagine the harvest before the first seed of faith is sown. Now, David witnessed the faithfulness of the Lord time and time again and trusted him implicitly because of this, and so should we.